Hail, weary podcast traveler and well met. I see your adventure through the depths of the internet has led you here to sliding into the DMs. Now, this is not a podcast for the dirty boys, as the name implies, but rather a D&D advice and creative concepts podcast where these three nerds take your questions, suggestions, and pop culture influences to turn them into playable content, making goofs all along the way. This show is for everyone, from level 1 adventurers just stepping into the realm of D&D to the level 19 Dragon Slayer. Their aim is to help both players and DMs alike. Even Gary Gygax needed help sometimes. Just ask Dave Arneson. So step into our tavern, take off your cloak of elvenkind, and spend some time sliding into the DMs.
Roll for initiative.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, no.
16.
12.
2.
2. Oh, yeah, boys. Welcome to Sliding into the DMs. My name is Bruce, the most frustrated and angry mad scientist you have ever met, especially this evening.
Hi, Bruce.
Hi.
I am Trevor. I am your forum troll. Trolling all you motherfuckers. All of y'all.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And this is Cameron, who's being awfully fucking silent.
Thank you very much, Trevor. My name is Cameron, also known as Bored as Noodles, the TikToker, social media personality, and just all-around weird random person.
Awesome. He's our noob. He's our designated, I know nothing of D&D, so I'm going to ask all the questions that everyone needs to ask, but he never does.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
He's
I'm
that
the guy
for
that
us.
sits here and listens.
He's supposed to stop us. He's supposed to stop us when we start talking about fucking
Hey, hold on.
shit that
I don't understand. Wait.
people might understand, and then he's like...
What do you mean about that?
Exactly.
Yes,
that's what you're supposed to do.
That's what we need to fucking hear. All right?
All right, boys. Since I rolled highest, we're gonna jump back to a new segment that we just created, and I'm gonna make Cameron do it. Cameron, roll a d20 for me while I explain what this is. We are taking the top 20 mascots of companies and like brands and labels and stuff like that, and taking their company mascot and statting them and classing them for D&D as NPCs for you to include in your game. Last time we did Mario, or Martin. It's me, Martin. And we developed a little side quest kind of game that you can throw in and include Martin in your game. So today, we need to hear what Cameron rolled, and then I will give you who we got.
Well, it's kind of the perfect number, because coming up, just so everybody knows, is Friday the 13th, when the next episode of Sliding into the DMs should be launching, and I got a 13.
Ooh, spooky.
Wee.
Oh my god. And it's the scariest of them all. It's Mr. Clean.
Oh god.
Mr. being very little changed over the years, this bold muscular man made its brand the best seller on the market for 6 months in 1958. I have dyslexia and ADHD, and I'm colorblind, so bear with me. The huge success stayed, and whoever wrote this was not of good sound mind holes.
Mind holes?
The huge success stayed by the cleaning company's side for many years ahead, being an inspirable part of all its market. Fuck this. I'm not reading that anymore. It's Mr. Clean, the bald, sexy man from the commercials.
Bruce,
from
did
Super
you
Bowl.
pick?
All the moms want to fuck
Mr.
him,
Clean
and it's great.
You are Mr. Clean?
Because you look
You're
like
a bald,
Mr. Clean.
sexy son of a bitch.
I don't look like
You just
him
need
at
an earring.
all.
Just get an ear piercing, and there you go. You never noticed that Mr. Clean has his ear pierced?
And bleach my eyebrows.
or just shave them off,
No, he has like platinum white eyebrows.
Right, well then, platinum white your fucking eyebrows then, nerd.
So, Mr. Clean in D&D, what would he be?
Barbarian.
Obviously his race would probably be either human,
Goliath,
or
Goliath.
Goliath would be good. I like Goliath.
Because he'd be cleaning up. He'd be just taking
Goliath.
out people. He needs to be someone that just sweeps and just sweep kills everything. Berserk.
Either a Goliath barbarian or a Goliath paladin.
I think we have to have some kind of martial class to show off his muscular physique, for sure.
For sure.
I was thinking Goliath fighter, but then we need something. I think we have to dip into a magic class so we can give him some kind of spell that would. I think at least wizard, because then he can get like prestidigitation, which allows you to like instantaneously clean or produce water to wash whatever you have in front of you, and that's a cantrip. So he could just be firing that bitch off all day.
What about alchemical kind of abilities because of all the potions? You know, because he uses it's cleaning supplies, it's chemicals, it's literally like potions.
Right. So you're thinking artificer?
Yeah, more
then?
like artificer on the he like has, I don't know, his repertoire of fucking cleaning supplies and magic erasing sponges.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think.
So
like,
maybe it's a banishment sponge.
Maybe it's like a fucking a artificer wizard.
Who's a Goliath barbarian.
No.
I think fighter, because I don't see him. Well, no, I could honestly see Mr. Clean losing his temper and just fucking murking someone, and you would never know because he would just clean it up right after. So
Exactly.
Sorry, I didn't mean artificer. I meant alchemist, like an alchemist wizard.
Yeah.
alchemist, artificer.
Yeah, because the potions and like all the like.
Yeah, but there's not an alchemist
I know,
class. What he can be?
No, but that's why it's wizard. But
alchemy proficiency.
Alchemy proficiency as a wizard.
And he's got magic erasers. And he's already made of a crystal ball. His head is a crystal ball, like literally.
Boom. That's his arcane focus right there.
Yeah.
I like the idea of him having a sponge that's just called the magic eraser, and it has like 5 uses of banishment.
Of banishment.
And exactly. What is it? That song from TikTok is like, wipe it all. Wipe it. And they do the transitions.
Wipe it down.
Wipe. That's what it
one.
is.
Yeah. I did that trend way back in the day.
Just like fucking banishing people left and right.
Love it.
So Goliath,
artificer,
wizard,
barbarian, or Goliath
wizard proficient in alchemy.
Goliath wizard with a alchemy proficiency.
I kind of want him to have some fighter in there because I want him to be beefy because he's beefy.
He is beefy. That doesn't mean he's not a wizard.
I know it doesn't mean he's not a fighter either.
Why? Besides his physical physique, why do you think he's a fighter?
Because he fights grime and dirt.
Right? No, he's physically scrubbing things all the time. Have your arms don't burn when you have to fucking get down and scrub the tub as hard as you have to, right?
That has nothing to do with fighting. That's back to his physical physique.
I used the one with the tiny scrubbing bubbles.
No, get the fuck out of here. We're talking Mr. Clean. You know what's fucked up is that when I said artificer, I imagined him getting like an army of little robots that look like the scrubbing bubbles guys.
God.
But
hold on, I'm just gonna take a machete to my sister's cat real quick.
Don't do that.
Stepped on the crunchiest thing in the room. Like there's thousands of soft surfaces this cat could have walked over, and he's like, this IKEA bag full of paper bags and glass that's broken? Hey, that sounds cool.
This IKEA bag.
I hear you've been having issues with recording today. I'm gonna go ahead and just knock over these glass dominoes real quick. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Sorry.
Shit.
Okay,
cut that out.
So, wizard,
alchemist, Goliath. So, what are his go-to spells, and what kind of side quest can we put in here for him?
Obviously, prestidigitation. We discussed that one.
Yeah. Maybe he's going after the same shit monster that Martin was going after.
Yeah.
It's time to clean up this city.
But he actually knows what it is. I don't know. I gotta look up some wizard spells. I don't.
Can't think of a good one for
never actually played a wizard
aspect.
Right.
Fireball. It cleanses everything.
Hold on.
Oh, cleanse it with fire.
I mean, bleach kind of burns.
Fight
when you
grime.
leave it on the skin.
Fight grime with flames.
Acid splash. That'd be like bleach.
Right. Let's see. Dancing lights, because whenever he's done cleaning, everything's all sparkly. So you just make it look all...
Yes. Yep. Shape water. Obviously.
What is that?
Obviously got to shape water.
Shape water. Is that like waterbending? Like he's like fucking Korra?
Yeah,
Correct.
Literally. It's basically waterbending, yeah. True strike, because he's going to know exactly where the grime is and get it, you know.
Yes.
Probably Toll the Dead.
Toll the Dead.
Toll the Dead. That's a necromancy. How does that have anything to do with Mr. Clean?
Well, you who understands dirt and grime more than people who clean up the dirt and grime. What's more dirty and grimy than necromancy? So it says, you point at a creature you can see within range, and the sound of dolorous bells fills the air around it for a moment. Yeah. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or take 1d8 necrotic damage. If the target is missing any of its hit points, it instead takes 1d12 necrotic damage.
What about... I could also see him doing mending and minor illusion.
Absorb elements?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Absorb elements says, this spell captures some of the incoming energy, lessening its effect on you and storing it for your next melee attack. Well, he's a wizard, he's not going to get very many melee attacks, so that won't work. Let's see.
We're naming a lot of cantrips. We got to go up a little bit here.
What level are we thinking? I'm thinking at least 5th level.
5th level wizard or has access to 5th level spells? Because you don't get 5th level spells at level 5.
Access to 5th level spells.
Okay.
Probably get some Wall of Light in there.
Far Step?
Yeah. Well, you can get into like the specifics of the spells, but I think for sure he's going to have Prestidigitation and probably like Mage Hand, Mending, Mold Earth. What do you think about Mold Earth?
Why would he be molding the earth when he cleans things?
Nope.
Because you can target a 5-foot cube of loose earth. So if a room has like dirt and dust in it, he targets the dirt and dust and pulls it all out.
Watery sphere.
Oh yeah, that's right. Shape water sphere. I think there's a spell called Create Water.
Yep, there is.
Create and destroy water. I like all that. Okay, so now let's talk about the side quest we're going to put him on. What is his goal, and how can the party help him achieve that goal?
What if there's like a clay golem or something that like has been like breaking into people's houses, fucking stuff up, stealing stuff from all the villagers, all this stuff, and he's going after it because he knows it's a clay golem from the big muddy footprints it leaves in everyone's house that it breaks into.
Right. So he's chasing down the grime, chasing down the dirt.
Chasing the grime, yeah.
Gonna magic erase it.
Yep.
I like that. What if part of me feels like Paladin is a good choice for him as well, because his oath would be like to clean the streets. Clean the streets. And then that would give him like those divine smite things, and I think part of his like little side quest it would be to get his oath weapon, like his oath blade. And his oath blade would be, or his oath weapon would be like just a giant warhammer, but it looks like a fucking magic eraser sponge on a stick. Come on, you know that's badass.
Swiffer sweeper.
And he has it has one charge of banishment on it, and so your party's goal is to help him retrieve his oath weapon and then banish whatever this golem is, and maybe this golem is like kidnapping people through the town and destroying their homes and like just generally fucking the place up.
This clay golem doesn't use doors. It's a fucking Kool-Aid Man style.
Yes.
Busted in, it's like busting through. Oh yeah!
Oh god.
Yes.
And the villager was like, oh no, motherfucker.
Right. So when we get to Kool-Aid Man, we're gonna build him as the villain for this one shot.
Yes.
Because can you imagine his worst nightmare would be the red-colored fluid guy who crashes through walls and just messes up the place.
Yeah.
So a high-level wizard paladin whose oath is to clean up the streets, and he's a Goliath. And his oath weapon has been taken or stolen by whoever created this golem.
Yep.
And the golem is wreaking havoc in whatever town it is by, kidnapping NPCs and, demolishing the town little by little. And so your party comes across this half-demolished town, and this lone Goliath who is trying to do his best to, you know, clean up the place and fix it and get everything back to normal. And he's only able to do so much because his oath weapon is missing. And they set out with him to go confront whoever this bad guy is, but they're unable to destroy the tome that created the golem. Thereby, the golem is still alive and created and wreaking havoc. So now they have to go handle that, and then that's when he gets his oath weapon back, and he's able to banish the muck and grime. However, your party gets him there. I love it.
I love it.
All
Boom.
right.
I got
Boom.
that.
Mr. Clean.
I took that Mr. Clean present. We wrapped it up real nice. We put a bow on it, and it's ready to go.
Hell yeah. Send it.
Send it.
UPS label on it. Full send. All right. What else do we got for this evening? For this evening.
You want a forum troll question?
Forum troll.
All right. We were just talking about paladins, so boom, let's jump into a paladin question, shall we?
Let's get it.
Let's get it,
I'm
boy. This question comes from D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond. From S. Galbraith.
F. Galbraith.
S.
F.
Like S. S. Like Sam.
Satan.
Snake. Slytherin. Satan. S. Galbraith says, okay, my son is playing a paladin in a campaign based on A Midsummer Night's Dream. In the play... Oh god, these names are gonna mess me up so bad. In the play, Eugeus asks the Duke to force his daughter to marry Demetrius, not Lysander, who she loves. If she doesn't agree with his wishes, she wants to enact the right of the parent to put her to death. Duke Theseus gives her the option to marry Demetrius or join a covenant. Needless to say, the daughter runs off to the woods with Lysander. The question is, my son wants to go stop Eugeus from putting his daughter to death, feeling that it is cruel and against his moral code. I feel this would break the law and go against his alignment. I told my son that he is imposing modern moral standards on historical different moral standards. Who was right?
Okay, could you go over that one more time and say it again? I'm kidding.
I was gonna say.
I'm gonna sum it up. Sum it up a little bit.
Just change their names to something manageable. Use our names.
Okay, Midsummer Night's Dream, the play by Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
His son is playing a D&D version of that, and there's a girl that wants to marry this other dude, but her father is forcing her to marry someone else.
Typical Shakespeare.
So that's how the play goes. But the son in the D&D one wants to stop the main guy from putting his daughter to death for not marrying this person.
Okay.
Because he feels it's cruel and against the moral code. But the father is saying that would be breaking the law, because the law is that
you can put your daughter to death if she doesn't listen to you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it would. So it
goes against his,
and it would go against his. It goes against his lawful good alignment to break the law. So the dad is asking, which one of us is right? Is he imposing modern moral standards on historical moral standards? Or, is it breaking his alignment to get this guy to stop from putting his daughter to death? My thought is no. No, it is not. Because, again, you're thinking of lawful good as someone who actually follows the law. That's not what lawful... Yeah, it's not what lawful good actually means. It just means you follow a code. And your code could be whatever you think it is. So if he thinks his character should have this moral code of, you shouldn't be putting people to death when they don't do what you say, that's his lawful good, that's his code, and I don't think it's wrong. So my opinion, it's not against his alignment, but Bruce, hit me with your thoughts.
Well, I was just going to read lawful good at what they have here on Easy Damas. It breaks down lawful good for 5e. It says, a lawful good character acts as a good person is expected or required to act. He combines a commitment to oppose evil with the discipline to fight relentlessly. He tells the truth, keeps his word, helps those in need, and speaks out against injustice. A lawful good character hates to see the guilty go unpunished. Lawful good is the best alignment if you can be because it combines honor and compassion. Lawful good can be a dangerous alignment when it restricts freedom and criminalizes self-interests. So I agree. I don't think he's wrong. I think they're both right technically, if you look at it, because yes, the law of the land says it's this, so that is what's deemed good and true to the word of that society. But if you look at it like their truths, so like the people of this land, their truth, law, their truth, their understanding of it all is that, if your daughter disobeys, you can have her killed. But this paladin isn't from this land, so his law is different. If you're looking at it like law to law, well, he's not of this land, so yes, he'll observe whatever laws he has to get by, but in the end, it's, what he was raised on is different from what they're being raised on. But if you go at it like understanding the alignment like we just talked about, where, your alignment says lawful in it, but that just means that you understand that there's a hierarchy and that there are certain paths and set rules, laws to your nature that have to be followed. So like you never lie, you always stand up for those who are experiencing injustice, and you always like to see criminals, get their dues and stuff like that. Those are the laws of you. So that's what the lawful is talking about, is that, there's a set rule group for you. So I don't think this is breaking the morals of the game or enforcing modern morals on that game. I think he's playing his character. His character sees it as injustice for this girl to be, put to death because she doesn't want to marry whoever she's being, contracted to marry. So I think he's playing his role right. I think he's doing what his character would do. In
that situation, yeah.
Right.
It seems like it would be the proper choice for him to, save her.
Right. And, I mean, if you're going by the play standards, the play does it different too. And it's D&D. You can play it however you want. Like, if you're trying to play, like...
It's fucking D&D.
Right. If you're trying to play, like, era accurate, yeah, he's going to be breaking the law by trying to force her out. But look at Romeo and Juliet. Like, she broke the law by committing suicide, and he broke the law by violating the dad's wishes of him not to come around. So that whole love story is based on breaking the law and, refusing to follow the status quo and stuff like that. So that was their fucking jam. It's like, that's all it was break the law this, break the law that. So he's falling right in.
I would argue that Romeo and Juliet were chaotic, but they were very self-serving and about themselves.
Right, I'm not saying they were lawful. Right, I'm not saying they're lawful, but I'm saying that it's very easy to break the laws when they are not just.
Yes.
Like when the laws aren't just, it's easy to say, well, you're breaking the law. Well, yeah, you told me not to fucking sit on this seat of the bus, so I'm going to break the law and sit on the seat of the bus, so fuck you. It's unjust that I have to, give up my seat for someone else and all this other stuff.
All right, Rosa Parks. All right.
I'm just saying, it's a fucked up law, so...
Yes. Well,
if you're a paladin in that situation...
I was going to say, when you were reading the definition of lawful good, I saw how it could go either way, realistically.
Right.
Because, one, it says you want to see criminals brought to justice.
Right.
And in this case, she'd be breaking the law. She'd be a criminal, so you'd want her brought to justice. But it also talked about doing things for compassion and a sense of
injustice.
Injustice and what's right and wrong and stuff. So in that case, that would flip to the other side of things, where he should, get this person to let her marry who she wants. So, but
nowhere in there does it say the law of the land.
Yeah.
So it's like, this really drove it home for me. For your first point was that this is what this character believes, so this is what they're gonna do. And so I believe this would fall into, he tells the truth, keeps his word, helps those in need, and speaks out against injustice. Is that doesn't say anything about the law of the land, because, you know, the law of the land could say this is the rule, this is what's just for us, but it can be injustice just the same. And so that falls into the law that they have set for themselves and what they're willing to break and disregard in regards to, like, the laws of the land.
I concur.
Yes.
The laws of the land.
Yes.
Yes.
Cameron?
So I think what we're doing here is saying that if this is what your character's truth would be, and you're honestly making this decision to do what would best fit your character's understanding and the way they interact with the world, then do it. You're not breaking any rules here. Yeah, you're not going by the standards of that land or that, you know, that play style, or not play style, but that setting. But if it fits your character, you're playing your character.
Yep.
I think that sounds proper.
Do you have any questions, Cameron?
No questions. I feel like you guys went in the same direction that I would have in that same situation.
Sexy.
I've learned a lot being here with y'all, lately. So, I don't have as many questions as I used to. I'm sorry.
That's awesome. Hopefully that means that we're doing a good job.
Hear that, everyone? If you listen to our podcast, you learn things.
You do. I'm proof.
Tell your friends. You want to learn about D&D? Listen to this podcast. They'll teach you things. And
tell your friends.
Say, like, you might get one funny thing every episode, so maybe worth a laugh, you know?
Right, or you might just have a whole episode that's kind of funny, and then the next episode is, like, really informative.
Yeah, you never know. It's kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, as Forrest's mother would say, you know?
Right.
I want some chocolate now, thanks.
His mama used to say.
Mammy.
No, that...
Anywho,
you were going a little bit water boy there. You were going a little bit more water boy there than Forrest Gump.
Huh.
All right. So, what do you want now? What do you want? You want another question? You got a segment you got in your mind?
I have something I want to bring up, but I want to get another question first.
One more question. All right, Bruce.
Yes.
Bruce. I think this is a good one for you.
Okay.
And I think this is one that, as you talk, Cameron is gonna have some what is that questions. So.
All right. Perfect.
Probably.
This is also from the D&D Beyond forum.
Beyond.
This is from Pavilionaire.
Ooh.
Pavilionaire asks, my next adventure will involve the party repelling waves of advancing drow army. The encounter is a guaranteed loss. There will be no end to the waves. They are intending to flee when they feel they are out of steam. But the longer the players survive, the more loot they will get on their hands. Several of the waves will include a drow leader with a magic item, which they will use against the party. Then after each wave, there will be a break where the party has a chance to recover loot, including that magic item. What are some good drow-themed magic items that would be interesting to use against the players in an encounter like this? Players are level 7 to 8, and I'm thinking mostly rare items, but uncommon and very rare are okay too.
Okay.
I just gotta say, to start off, if you are that faithful in your party that they are going to run away eventually when they think they are beat, fucking, I am clapping right now for your party, because I know the party I play in would never run away. They're just going to fight and think that they could win any battle, no matter what the odds are, and then they will all die, and it'll be a TPK.
And then they'll be mad at you for doing
They'll be mad at you for doing a TPK, yep.
Right. There's a bunch of really cool magic items that you could use on a party. I mean, if you're looking at it in a wave standpoint, you can use items that will control the battlefield. So you can have gauntlets of fog or a spear of wall of flame. So you activate it by throwing it, and then wherever it hits, a wall of flame is created. And 30-foot straight line from where it hits to where it was thrown. Limiting the battlefield to that smaller quarter so they can effectively bottleneck the enemy. You can have, like, Cloak of Invisibility, or, like... Man, there's a bunch of really cool shit that you can throw in there. I would just go through the magic item list on D&D Beyond and pick which ones you think would be useful against the party, but don't think of stuff that would be useful for the party. Because that's the fun part about D&D, is, like, problem solving and making puzzle pieces fit where you need them to. So if you create an encounter where your enemies are using magic items that you've decided would be really good against your party, and they end up killing that guy and getting that item, they're going to take that and have to figure out how to use it against the enemy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that would be funner than anything, like lightning javelin, or javelin call lightning, whatever it's called.
Yeah, that would be good. Like a shadow cloak would be good, or cloak of elvenkind.
Right.
Trackless boots.
So yeah, when I typed in drow magic items, and a couple of them came up, was the drow slave collar. It's a wondrous item. It says a steel collar with an inner band lined with tiny iron spikes made to catch into a prisoner's skin, causing constant pain and making it much more difficult to forcefully remove. Each collar is also enchanted with slight divination effect to locate the wearer. I don't think that one would be very useful in the style you have set up, but there's another one called... there's two here that I really like. It is the Assassination Shiv. It's a weapon, it's uncommon, commonly found in the backs of much too arrogant and little too paranoid drow. These thin blades are mass-produced in Underdark society, so this would fit. They make no noise when drawn or when used to attack. When this weapon hits a surprised creature, it deals an extra 1d10 of poison damage. That's a good one, I think. Spider Silk Cloak. It's a wondrous item and it's rare, and it requires attunement, so it's got some uses to it. But cloaks like these are rather valuable, as they both require a giant spider with a special pure silk, an alchemist with the right ingredients to treat the silk, and a skilled enough craftsman who can both weave and enchant the silk in the same process. The cloak has 10 charges, which are used to fuel spells within it. While attuned to the cloak, you have a +2 bonus to your AC, and you may use your action to cast one of the following spells. Spider Climb for 2 charges, Web for 4 charges. Which Web is really cool because if you cast Web on an area, Web is flammable. So if you also hit it with fire, then you have an AoE of fire damage in that area. For the details on that, you can just look up the Web spell on D&D Beyond, or just Web spell 5e on Google. The cloak does regain charges. The way it regains charges is pretty cool, because you roll, instead of rolling a d6 to determine how many charges it regains, it says the cloak regains 1d4 plus 2 expended charges daily at dusk. If you expend the last charge, roll a d20. On a 1, the cloak's silk threading separates and falls lamely to the floor. If collected, this threading may be sold for 50 gold pieces. So it actually has a risk factor to it too. So like if they're using it in battle, they run the risk of burning all the charges and losing the cloak altogether, which will be a nice little tidbit that you can throw in there. So it's not like an unlimited power kind of thing.
I found some cool rings too that would make sense in this situation. Ring of Anticipation. While wearing the Ring of Anticipation, you gain a +2 competence bonus on listen and spot checks. When making initiative checks, you can roll twice and take the better result. So nice. That would sound like something that, an army battalion leader would have.
Right.
Ring of Resolve. The ring grants you a +4 morale boost on will saves and made against spells and spell-like effects with a fear as a descriptor. So anytime anyone's trying to cast a spell on you that has fear, is a fear-based spell, a psychic spell, you get a +4 on that.
Right.
Just having a morale boost for all of your troops, that's something that a leader would have. And then you can throw this little gem in there as as a kind of hint to them. which is the Ring of Escaping.
Ooh.
This black metal ring is extremely smooth. When warm, it fits snugly as though you cannot feel it. The Ring of Escaping allows you to slip away from a dangerous situation. As long as you wear the ring, you gain a +5 bonus on escape artist checks.
So I think that'd be like a bonus to your stealth or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I would guess. Like a bonus to stealth and disengage or something.
Yeah, I think that you can just basically look at the item list and decide like anything that gives you benefits for being in darkness or dealing with shadows. Those would be really good for Drow because they're light sensitive. So anything that's going to give them kind of protection from light or benefits in the dark is going to be something that would fit them very well. They are elves, so they're very agile and they're able to kind of bounce around quite a bit. They're very dexterous, so anything that would fit for an assassin or a rogue would be something good to give them, make them even more terrifying, honestly. So anything like that I think would be really fun to kind of throw in there as a magic item.
I like it.
The only real questions I was going to have is if you were going to make the items specific to the type of mob, which would be obvious, but you already answered my question, so sorry, I didn't have much questions to add.
What is something you could see a dark elf or a they come from the Underdark, so they're I don't know what you would call them, shadow elves. They basically live in caves and operate in darkness and stuff like that, but they're still elves. They're just basically goth elves.
Goth elves.
What would you give them?
What did you think a gothic elf would have?
Mm-hmm. Like
items.
fishnets of sneaking. Yeah, you know.
Fishnets of sneaking.
God damn it.
Thick thighs. Fishnets of thick thighs and sneaking.
Why? No. Fuck, I don't know.
Cool. Well, thanks for adding to that segment there, Cameron. We appreciate you.
I'm trying to think. My brain is... I like slept 3 hours yesterday.
It's late because someone had technicality issues. Not going to mention any names. Bruce?
Yeah, I'm not going to mention any names either. Hello, hey guys. You ready? Welcome to Sliding Into and this episode is going to be brought to you by Rage. I have had the most issues I have ever had in my life while trying to get set up for tonight. I would go over the list of them, but my therapist says that it's best if I try to forget them as soon as possible. So, are you guys ready? Roll for initiative. Oh, I got a nat 20. Yeah. What'd you guys get? All right. Oh, come on. Oh, you mother. It doesn't, at this point.
So, all right. You said, Bruce, I heard you. Yeah. I remember this. Okay. You said you have a segment you want to do.
Nope, you misheard me. I said I have something I want to talk about.
Oh.
And it's called... Oh, I actually have two things I can talk about. Hit me with your
best shot. Fire away.
I think that was bad enough to where whoever originally sang that song is not going to come after us for, like...
No. You know. Not at all. They won't. Don't worry.
Yeah. I think we're safe. So thank you. Thank you for that. So the first thing I want to talk about is kind of like world building. World building typically falls under the DM's responsibilities of something they have to do. But the more enlightened world of D&D, at least what I've experienced, people talking about and the topics that are brought up on TikTok a lot that I see, is opening it up for your party to be more involved in that. And I really like that. So one of the ideas that I didn't catch the creator's name, which I'll have to do better at that. They had mentioned helping the party by kind of coaching them through a backstory. And so when they go to create their backstory and they bring it to you, you can kind of tailor it to that realm or that play setting or whatever the main story is that you kind of have an idea of what's going to roll. But what you have them do is you create these things that they called daggers. These are little things in your backstory that the DM can throw into gameplay that will automatically trigger a response from your character. So whether it's, a family member you haven't talked to, or is missing or disappeared after some dispute, you can include them in that backstory. Or if it's a rival that's just kind of generically explained or described as like, okay, this is their name and they did me wrong in this situation, and that's all you mark down on your backstory. And then that way the DM can take those things, those daggers, and jam them into your side in the gameplay, so that it also includes you in the world building, because you made the decision on what that person is and what they do and all that stuff. But now the DM is using that situation to further involve you in the world and in the conflict that's in front of you. So sometimes this can be used when gameplay slows down, or when, like, say your party starts to lose motivation on certain things, like maybe their quest isn't going the exact way they wanted it to, and now they're kind of losing motivation to continue on. You can throw in one of these daggers of, say the paladin in the party, the reason why he took up an oath was because of this family member who disappeared, and they were never able to find them or bring them back or whatever it was. And now, all of a sudden everything's going wrong in this story, and everyone's kind of losing hope and losing the will to continue on this storyline. Well, now turns out the baddie has some involvement with this person's missing sibling, and the reason why the sibling left was because this bad guy romanticized something and schmoozed them into the dark side kind of thing. And now the paladin has a reinvigorated urge to continue on and fight forth. And I wanted to bring this up because I wanted to see what you guys thought about it, and if you guys had any ideas of something you can include as a dagger in a backstory, so that your DM can use it, bring it in as a part of the world.
A dagger? Specifically a dagger?
No. See, you weren't listening.
Yeah, I wasn't. I'm sorry, I was researching something because you said something that made me think of
something.
A way to get your party involved in setting up the world, and it took me off on a whole nother journey. So
okay, so the gist of what I was talking about was in your backstory, including generic, like, throwaway facts about your life on, like, interactions or relationships that are sore spots, or topics that are sore spots for your characters, so that your DM can pick and choose from those out of your background and use them to fuel the story, and use some of the content you've created to fuel the world around them. So say one of these daggers, quote unquote daggers, is that you have a family member that you lost touch with and ended up disappearing, and it was under bad circumstances, but you don't go any further than that description in your backstory. Well, now the DM can take that and use it as, everything's going wrong in the game and people are losing motivation to play and keep going. Well, the DM throws in that your paladin, their, sister who disappeared and was the reason why you took up the paladinship, was actually was and is a big part of this BBG's plot or story, and it kind of pushes you into jumping back in and making it a point to free them or rescue them, whatever. But these little things like that, where they can use them in the story to bring you back in or fuel a response from you. We
have done this
right
at least 4 times in the current campaign we're in right now,
right,
that I can think of off my head. We had Mako's little snippet about working for a Cal, who was a boss we were going to fight, and we turned that into, he was the watcher of this family, and a Cal was doing all this stuff to them, and we had it so Mako basically helped this family escape, and a Cal's been after him since, and we took that whole backstory and fueled Carson to go after a Cal when a Cal was saying, he was going to find the family again and stuff like that. We did it with my backstory, again with a Cal. How a Cal basically came in, slaughtered my whole village while I was out hunting, came back, put me down on my knees, and slaughtered my family in front of me. And I was...
After forcing you to slaughter an entire village, which turns out to be a part of another player's background, where that village is where he grew up, and some big cataclysm happened that caused his parents to end up in the wrong place at the wrong time and die as well. Yeah, that was all kind of a trigger system set up that we planned from the beginning.
And then...
Wait, so a cow killed your family?
No, not a cow.
Like moved
a cow.
The cow.
I-K-H-A-L.
Yeah, I-K-H-A-L. Not a cow. Not like...
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Although I do think that makes it a lot funnier.
That's what
way
I thought.
funnier.
It's just a cow. It was the Chick-fil-A cows.
So a cow killed your whole family.
And then we had that whole situation with Justice and Casaro that we built that whole thing on to get Justice into playing more RP, and that was that was literally something we kind of built on the fly. I built them a whole backstory and ran a one shot with them about that backstory in the middle of our campaign, because we had just kind of thrown this nugget in there when we introduced an NPC that Justice knew this person, because she had kind of said in her backstory about being part of a hunting guild, and then we threw this NPC in and we're like, oh, this was a part of your hunting guild, and then we led that on to this was a person that brought you into the hunting guild because you were in love with them, and and that's
they were in love with you, so you forced them into the hunting guild, and then they died from it, and you that's your guild trip now. Yeah, that would be a dagger.
Yeah, that was a good one, and we played the whole story on that one. That was fun.
Right. So stuff like that. Like, is there anything else you can think of where those kinds of daggers, those little tidbits in someone's backstory, can be used against them, or something to fuel the storyline?
Now, this is a question I have about backstories and being a complete noob, and this is something that I want to know. Does everybody create their character's own backstory?
Not always. You can just pick a kind of like a generic backstory, like an idea of where you came from. There's something in D&D called
like
background, which gives you some added benefits to your character. They give you like different abilities, or they may improve some of the things that you can do. But backstories is like where your character came from. So there has to be something there, or at least a generic reason of why your character is doing what they do, but it doesn't have to be like a specific, here's the names and the places and everything else. That's something that you can bring to your DM and say, hey, this is my idea, how does it fit? And then they can help you fill it out, and then that also helps you understand the world around you and kind of play more, RP more to the world itself.
Okay.
And it helps you RP your character a lot more. Like, a lot of people will kind of just generic backstory, quick couple little snippets about who they were, and that's all they want to do for it. But I advise like really going into a deep backstory for your character, because it helps you understand the character a lot more. It helps you understand their motivations, and it
embody their decisions.
Yeah, embody their decisions. It really helps you get into character when you sit down and you actually build a thorough backstory for them. I think it helps a lot, and that's I get way too into my backstories.
Right.
I mean, it makes sense.
I think when I was helping Justice and Casaro, and I kind of wrote their backstories for them, I handed them a page and a half typed out.
Right. And he had like an hour before then. Before the game started. He had an
Before
hour.
the game started, I was like, oh god, I gotta make backstories for them. And I sat down and I typed out each of them a page and a half backstory. And then they came and I'm like, here you go.
Oh, God.
So,
and the backstory is really, I feel like the backstory can be really important because, like I said, it helps in the world building. It helps you understand and fully embody. It helps flesh it out your character.
Ooh, flesh it out.
It helps you understand. It helps you understand why they do what they do, and it helps you better interact with situations, because you will do one thing, Cameron will do one thing, but I can't remember what your Goliath's name was for the one shot we played, but that character would do something.
Certainly.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, so Cameron would do one thing, but certainly has different experiences and different, skill sets and stuff like that. So he would interact with that situation almost entirely differently. So knowing that backstory, knowing that background from where they came from is going to help you to better understand and embody those decisions that they have to make in that time.
Making, basically, I mean, as obvious role-playing goes, you're playing a character that is not you. So you want to go based off of what their life would be or how they would potentially act, and not necessarily how you would act in the situation, but take over the life and the role of your character. So that makes sense, definitely. I was just wondering if people get, if people are so into it that they get creative enough to make up their entire own backstories.
Yeah, there's a lot of veteran... There's a lot of
Trevor,
veteran players who do that, but there's also a lot of veteran players who are like, I'm a rogue. My family died. I grew up on the streets, and this is the life I know. That's the generic rogue backstory. Is I don't have any family, and that's it.
Yeah, and then they use D&D Beyond for that little roll table or selection of D&D Beyond has this thing for their background where you pick your flaws and your motivations, and they have 4 options for each or 6 options for each, and you kind of can either just pick one, or they have a number assigned to them where you can actually just random roll it.
Yeah.
But like I said, that kind of gets it's really base level backstory where you're not going to be as into RP. That's for a quick build. I think actually building out a thorough backstory is going to help a lot.
Yeah. But always consult your DM, too, to make sure it falls in universe. Because if you're oh, yeah, Dan down at the Dairy Queen fucked my sister, and then she got pregnant, and then he hit her with a car, he's going to be well, first of all, there's no ye old Dairy Queen in this realm, so you have to change that. Yeah.
And no one drives cars or,
Right. And so... stuff like that, just double check with your DM and make sure it falls in universe. And actually, I would suggest asking them, is there something about my backstory that I should change or that you can make fit to this world? And then let me know about it and what I and give me the details of stuff that I need to know if I am, from this city, or, I did do stuff in this city, or I did stuff as a job in this part, whatever it is. And then let them know kind of okay, here's some inside information you can take, and this is what your character knows.
So that I can use the ye old Dairy Queen.
So a good dagger that you could throw in there is I know a lot of people, there's, some people like to make the kind of aristocratic background or noble background when they're playing a character where they came from money, but they left the money to go adventure,
Right.
And they could say that, and then you could throw the dagger in there that, well, since you left, your mother has been so worried about you on the road that she actually, she's lost her mind and she's gone a little crazy. And then without her,
that's a good one.
She keeps going down to the apothecary.
Be the voice of reason to your father, who is the ruler of the land. He's done all of these crazy off the cuff decisions, and your whole homeland is basically crumbling, or it's about to go to war with so and so.
Right. Or they come into a situation where because you left or whatever it was, and the whole family's been thrown into a tizzy, right? And like you said, the mom is worrying now, the dad is making rash decisions, so they can come into that dagger in a couple different angles. If they get to a point where they're interacting at a noble level, you can say oh wait, you're so and so from this family, well, I don't know if I want to work with you anymore because they just destroyed a line of carts, a supply line of ours, and they will no longer be able to give us whatever. Or you can have it be this guy's been following you for 4 days or whatever. You recognize him, and while you're asleep one night in the tavern, you feel a bag being put over your head, and you're dragged out, and it turns out it's a hired bounty hunter basically who's coming to collect you and bring you back to the family by force. And so you can throw that in a couple different ways, as long as it drives the story or adds to the story itself. That's a really good one for the noble background, or whatever it is. Well, since this is going up on Friday the 13th, I think something spooky we can talk about is
Ooh.
Bruce's Lich. Something I sent to the group as a topic to talk about.
Wait,
a classic Lich is where a wizard or a spellcaster will separate their soul and their ability to touch magic, basically, like their ability to be in touch with magic, and they will combine the two, making them immortal and ever more powerful. This is done quite a bit in D&D, where you're fighting liches and stuff like that. They're really powerful, big baddies. But my version of a lich is the Mechana Lich. So it's a spellcaster who wants to gain power through time and study and stuff like that, and freeing up their soul to better interact with the force of magic in this realm as it is. But instead of them separating their soul from their body and like full on combining it with the force of magic, my idea was that they would do this by infusing their soul into a machine and becoming a mechanical, like, automaton, basically Ultron, like a mechanized suit army almost, where it's highly intelligent, it's, you know, it's going to last a very long time because it's not going through the same issues that physical forms are taking, you know, like sickness and damage and stuff like that. And it's able to study and gain more knowledge and learn more spells and stuff like, you know, to that effect. So my idea was, how badass would it be to like build like a robot wizard, dude? Oh, it'd be rad.
So rad.
Robot wizard.
Love it. A robot
Dude,
wizard.
it'd be so sick. Like a fucking cool ass Iron Man Lich.
I mean, that would definitely take the proverbial squishiness out of your wizard. Because that's usually a common problem, is wizards are very squishy.
Right.
1d4 damage. I'm down! I'm down!
Right. And my thought was, like, if you literally built it like Ultron, where his consciousness is in multiple forms, where, you know, you destroy whatever the mechanical body is that he's in, well, that soul is literally thrown to a different body, and now you have to go right back into combat and fight him again, because there was two of him there.
Weren't we talking about this a little while back?
Yeah, I
think I briefly mentioned it, but we didn't really
we had a
into
whole campaign idea. It was...
there was a whole... that centered around a lich that was, like, horcruxing his souls
we had a whole...
around.
We were talking about
Was it the realm where souls don't leave?
Nope. It was the one where they we talked about running a campaign where these people wake up and they don't know their machines. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. And we had talked about that it was this lich that was building these bodies to basically jump himself into, but he was killing
his soul.
People in the village to try to test this out as far as putting souls into these.
Right. Keeping them powered by using the souls of people there, and then whenever he needed it, he would just download in, and then they would be fully destroyed. Yeah.
So, you know, kind of similar, whereas, like, mechanic.
I think this would be a big bad situation where it's just him as the robot, and in the beginning, when your party first comes across him, he would level up alongside your party. So, like, every time they meet him and destroy him, he would just be sent to his phylactery to be reborn, and then jump into the next robot version of himself, the V2 or the V3, V2.5, you know, whatever it is. And so, like, as the party levels up, I think the final battle would just be him in, like, a Hulkbuster-esque fucking giant, Warforged type robot, and just be like the most metal fight ever with a bunch of his little minions who are robots.
I mean, I liked this idea when we originally talked about it, because it sounds very similar to that.
Well, cool, Cameron. Thanks again for your input in this situation. Fucking.
You're welcome. I mean, I feel like I wish I had more to input to that, but no, I think that sounds pretty badass. Sounds dope. Sounds scary. Sounds like it would be a tough boss.
I really like the idea
fucking Voldemort
of him having like different versions of this automaton body, and every time they kill him, he jumps into a better one and a better one and a better one and a better one.
I think one
So he just keeps
I think one of the
progressively
things
getting
that
harder.
you could do too is like you program in a kill switch for the bad guy, right? So if they find the kill switch, they kill him. But then the next form will have like made protections for that kill switch. So like if they damaged whatever the cylinder was that held his soul inside of it, well now the cylinder is behind like plate glass and
You're talking about a whole doomsday thing.
yes, exactly. Like Doomsday, like every time they kill him, they can't kill him the same way. So every time it gets harder and harder, and they have to find new ways of killing him or more creative ways of setting up the kill. And then,
Like a classic Zelda boss. Every time you like beat it down, it changes, and then its
right.
weak spots aren't in the same place. You can't kill
exactly.
it the same way. You have to keep adapting to the way.
Yes, and you can give it different moves and different styles per body, so that it's always changing up. So like one body, he's kind of tailored it to more roguish archetype, where it's more silent killer, it's more stealthy, it's quicker, and then like they kill that one. Well, the next one comes back as a fighter, so it's just like doing it. It has a lot of attacks per action. And it's, just fucking him up. And then they kill that one. Well, now he goes into, like, berserk mode, and he built it as a barbarian. Like, the body is just, like, fit for a barbarian. And, he's taking less damage, and he's doing more, and he's more aggressive. Well, that doesn't work because they kill that one. Well, now he goes into full spell casting, and, he's throwing spells from range and all that stuff. And, like, you can change up the playstyle for this one villain and just keep them fighting this thing in different ways every time they confront him.
I mean, I dig that as an overall just idea.
But I thought that was a good way to end the episode on a spooky note, since it's going up on a Friday the 13th.
So spooky.
Spooky.
It's a spooky Friday.
It's all spooky in here.
I'll give you a spooky. I'll give you a spooky butthole.
Well,
I'll give you the Waikiki Cheeky Sneaky. Yeah, that one. Anyways, sorry.
Since
I'm done.
I think that's about all we got for this episode. Does that sound about right, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I had one more forum question, but I think we're running out of time, so we won't have time to get to it. But that is A-okay. We'll save it for the next time.
Right. So, as always, let's jump into some housekeeping. If you want to go ahead and do that this time there, forum troll.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, first off, thank you for everyone who listens to us. You are a select few, and we appreciate you. All 6 to 12 of you. No.
All 4 to 2 of you.
Yeah. No. But seriously, thank you everyone for who does listen and subscribe. Smash that like button on whatever app you use to listen to us. Share us with your friends. As we always like to say, your word of mouth is our AOE.
Right.
We don't promote, we don't advertise. So the only way our podcast gets out there is by you telling a friend about it. And that gives us our area of effect. So please
help. They've been forcing me to promote.
Yes.
Right.
Please spread the word.
That's
Let
not
us
the truth.
get us out there to your friends. Tell your DM. Tell the rest of the people in your D&D party about us, so they can listen and get some ideas for different ways to play their characters and everything. Also, thank you to Carter as always for our intro she did for us. Super great. And we wish you luck on your new career adventure that you are going into. And you can, as always, slide into our DMs. We are the DMs, but you can slide into us by sliding into our direct messages.
I don't know if I like the way you phrase that.
No, don't slide into us. Don't slide into us, but
I didn't like
know
the
what
way
I
you
mean.
phrased that,
Right.
Yeah. You can ask us questions by...
Well, there goes our AoE.
Sliding into our direct messages to get a hold of us, the DMs. Yeah, don't do that.
Just don't slide in my butthole, please.
But we are on
It's dirty in
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest. All, and you can also email us at emailthedms@gmail.com. So if you have a D&D related question, idea, you want to see it flushed out, a character building conundrum, whatever you need, help with an NPC, let us know. Slide into our DMs and hit us up, and we will get your question or thought or idea into our episode, and we will help you work through it. I think that is about it. I don't think I missed anything.
I think you did it. I think you nailed it.
You did.
Nailed it in one. Nailed it in one.
Oh.
Since I rolled highest, I will go first for our quips. I'm gonna do what Trevor did. I think it was an episode or two ago, where you actually went back to what these quips are supposed to be instead of the jokes.
Yeah.
My suggestion is think of some daggers. Include daggers in your backstory. Think of something that would trigger your character into doing something. I think you'll find once it's used, once it's brought out into the light, maybe it's something your party doesn't even know that you just clue your DM into. I think you'll be surprised at how interesting this story becomes after you realize that you had input into it. Like, you created this situation, and now the party and you are having to deal with it. I think it'd be really fun and interesting to do that. So create some daggers for your character. Think of something to include in your background that'll manipulate the world.
My quick quip, don't forget to RP. Don't be scared to RP. A lot of people are about, battle and about min-maxing, stuff like that. Don't think so much about that. RP it. You will be surprised how much fun you have when you are that much more invested into your character because of the level of RP you're putting into it. It is a role-playing game, so roleplay that shit.
I was trying to think of one on the fly, and the only thing that I can get off the top of my head is that, like in life, and this is going to be more on the inspirational side of quips, like in life, as in D&D, don't be afraid to try new things. Get out of the box. Don't box yourself in and just play to one type of style. Be your own you. Don't be the version of you that everyone else is going to be, or that society wants you to be. Be that different version of a bard or a Goliath. Don't just put yourself in that box.
I love that.
It's role-playing, exactly like... And, of course, Trevor had to kind of steal my idea of being do something, don't be afraid. Try it new. You might like it, like anal.
All right, well, on that note...
Was that the idea that he lost? Wait, hold on.
That was not the idea I stole. But on that very disturbing note, fare thee well, and adventure onward.
Spice.
I can give you one D8. This D, 8 inches. Oh.